Hi, everybody, and welcome to Cambridge Photography Week on Demand. We are spending time chatting with local photographers and getting a feel for their business and finding out a bit more about their photography. So you never know; could be stuff that you can take yourself and then use that to help you get the most out of your photography. So let's get on with the chat. How are you doing, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Let's go straight into it. Let's just give us a bit of a short intro about yourself.
I'm Hungarian, living in the UK since the 2004, and and I've been through everything. I've worked in cafes and tried to find my way into photography because it was a dream of mine for a long time ago.
Mm.
I'm going to do this one day, and I have special reasons for that, and it is shown on my website because that's basically a true story. So when I was a kid, I didn't have many photos taken of me, and even the ones I had, they basically got lost when I was in high school. It seemed like I had a big fun.
Okay.
Someone had to take it. Yeah, there were two albums filled with printed photos, and I have almost nothing left. And it really bothered me when I had my kids, and I said, well, I can't show them who I was and where I'm coming from. And I quickly learned the importance of having photos in a family because that was really a missing item. Yeah, a long time ago it is now.
Yeah.
And so I thought because it's very important, I start to take pictures and I start to take it very seriously. Um, this is why I'm pressing the shutter really, and of course I enjoy it because it gives me great pleasure to take pictures, and it's fun. Well, of course,
What
uh,
is it about? What gives you that pleasure? What is it about it?
it's like I give something to people that actually they can keep for a very very long time. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
they will always have it. Their children will have it, and well, if you do a good job, it's not like because it's my idea, but today's world is like all the pictures are getting lost. Like people are taking like millions of pictures each day because everyone has a smartphone.
Yeah.
But what happens occasionally, I use my phone, and what I notice that most of these pictures they just get lost in a folder somewhere on my computer. I never print it. I never put it in an album really. Um, they're just not as good, so I don't take care of them that much. And people don't tend to open folders on the computer too much and looking at pictures. That's not what they do.
Mm.
And what I feel like once they transfer it from their phone, they just it's lost kind of. But when you give like a nice print and they put it out on the wall, they're just there. Yeah, it is nice. It is
Well,
nice.
I really like what I really like what you say there because you specialize in fine art portrait photography, and when you're saying about giving something to somebody that can you know that lasts and is special, I think I'm getting visions of those portraits that sit in houses, sit in stately homes, and are there for for years and years and years. And so, tell me a bit about more about your fine art portrait photography. Why do you do that?
Um, to me, it's the reason that I said before that I lost my own pictures. And well, it started basically the portrait side because long ago I started 20 years ago when I had my first camera. Well, actually, it wasn't mine. I borrowed it, and it was a film camera, Shinon. I'm not sure if I say it right. It's a very old film camera, and
Mm.
my friend took me in Hungary to take pictures of rally car racing. And I love the cars, and I said, okay, let's go. I had a free weekend, and I started to like picking up the camera and take pictures. I took horrible pictures, like absolutely horrible. I don't want to show it to you today. You can imagine. But anyway, when I inherited a house with my sister, which wasn't like a very expensive place, and we split the money, and I didn't want to put it in the bank.
Mm.
So I bought my first camera. I bought my first camera from this money, and
Oh,
that's
great.
how it
Okay.
started to work really. And my picture was still horrible, and but I knew some way, which way I want to go really with this. And there was some kind of pressure on me as well, because people said like, oh, you can't do this in a house and buy a camera. I said, well, I just did. And
Yeah.
when my children were born, um, I wanted to document their ways up to until they grow up really. But then other people start to be interested. Oh, your picture's really good, and you know, um, and they start to come to me and get the pictures taken too. Um, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy the process. I enjoy finding new ways. Until today, I'm watching other people how they work. As you said, because the
Mm.
curiosity, we all interested in others' work and the process, what they do, and there's always something new to explore. I just love it all the way. Yeah.
When did you start your business?
um, 7 years ago, yeah, just about 7 years ago. I didn't feel ready. I mean, I was missing something. Is the consistency, and
Okay.
even before that, I had a couple of weddings or something. Occasionally, something turned up. It wasn't really right. Um, it wasn't like an everyday thing to do. And 7 years ago, I said, okay, let's do it now, because I have to. Now, during COVID, I had to, but it went very quiet, like for the many of us, I think. And I've made no
Yeah.
business. Like it was very difficult, and I'm just starting to
A
pick up
difficult
again,
time. Yeah.
like start to pick up different type of jobs. And at the moment, it's very chaotic because I have wedding here, I have portrait there, I just did a branding shoot in Transylvania for a brewery. So it's all sort of thing. But I'm just trying to get back on feet after that 2.5 years. um, you know,
Mm.
it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, we've got this lovely portrait here in the studio. Um, so you got some to share with us. Tell us a bit about this first of all. This one's lovely.
Uh, this photo, it's clearly one of my favorite. This is what I put out for first, and it was actually very difficult to take because none of them were in the right. So basically, I had to use a trick. I never really did that before, but I had this um, squeaky little unicorn on the front of the lens, and
Oh yeah,
started to be very
brilliant.
interested in that. In the photo, basically, the light I was using, it is very very simple. I could zoom in now if I can, so you see a catch light um, in the rise. This is very very old. It's a softbox, just simple. I think the cheapest thing you can buy for money, um, and and I use
Oh,
that. I
lovely.
just put it very close to them, and I try to make them sit. And the chair is an old thing we found. Basically, it's, these rubbish collecting places where they sell things back they think is useful. Like in Stevenage, there's
Oh,
one,
okay, yeah, yeah.
and we found it there for it was dirt cheap, and we made them sit on this and just get a very simple light, and it was just a nice setup. I love it. Um, I didn't do much with this picture. It was basically uh, basic changes in camera raw, and I did some dodge and burn, but I clearly didn't overdo it. So it is a very simple picture as it is. Yeah, I was very happy with it,
Oh, that's
and
lovely. I
yeah,
mean, this kind of stuff, you can see printed out, and yeah, that's
yeah,
the kind of stuff is definitely worthy of being on a wall. Definitely, it
yeah.
goes
It was
back to what you were saying
definitely
about
printing.
having
Yeah,
some, photography that's special.
basically, this is a
Oh, brilliant!
picture I had this picture in my head for years, for years, honestly. Um, um, I don't know how. Maybe I saw something that gave me the idea. I have no idea what was it, but yeah, I had this in my head. And one day, just a week after my daughter was born, I'm showing more personal pictures because they more more close to me. Um,
Yeah.
so I had this idea, and just a week after she was born, like I had this walk in the woods, not far away from home. We live in Hatfield Park, and massive woods around. And I saw this trunk, but it was huge. It was like 4 meters long, with this hole in the middle. And I knew I wanted it, so it was raining, and I walked down with the chainsaw and I cut this piece off. But
Oh,
it
brilliant!
was like a meter long after I cut it off, but it was still like, I don't know, it was very
Yeah.
very heavy. But it's a tree trunk, and I had to roll it home a mile and a half in the mud. Some pictures
Oh,
how it
wow,
looked
that's
like,
commitment. That is.
but
Yeah.
so I had to clean it up. It looks much cleaner, and because I had to take it where the snowdrops were, and then my wife,
Okay.
she had me decorating it all around, and then we took the pictures. Um, this was very heavy. Like I mean, it's funny how people look at it sometimes and they just don't know what's behind it. They just when people say, like, "Oh, you just click the button," I'm like, "Okay, yeah." That
No,
was
yeah. It's
years of
well,
thinking.
clearly a lot went into it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. But it's one of my favorite outdoor pictures. I really love this one. Just yeah. Well, I find it beautiful, and I hope other people too.
So you've got those two scenarios where you say the first one, the setup was relatively straightforward, whereas this one, a lot you had to put, a lot more effort into the setup of this because you had to you had to cut a
Yeah,
tree to be
it
able
was
to
really
get
hard
to get
this
this.
one. Yeah, definitely. But even when people say like, "Oh, you press a button and it's done," for the other one, I can show you my first studio picture I ever took. I can show you this, and you can laugh. I mean, I grabbed a handful of almonds. I even put look my name. I mean, a handful of
Oh
almonds
yeah,
in
nice. Yeah.
a horrible mug. I thought it was beautiful, and I was so proud of it. So, coming from here to there, uh, that's what makes it like worth it. Because you know how it is. You go through the years and you learn bits and pieces, and um, yeah, I kept this for scaring people. This is what I can do. Yeah. So as
But
much.
it's great. It's great to show the journey you've taken, though. It's. I think sometimes the quest for perfection gets in the way of people starting. So actually, I think it's really great to see that photo compared to other ones you've done because there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong in looking back at your photography and seeing the improvement. In fact, it's better than not seeing improvement, I
Oh
think.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I always have this problem as well. Like I don't know. There's a word for this. It's like a syndrome, but I don't remember the word. This when you do a job and you get it done and it looks beautiful, and you do the next job and you look back the previous one and you find out, oh no, I should do this different. Every single time.
Yeah,
There's a word for it, but I don't remember what
yeah,
it is. Um, so yeah, you can see another outdoor portrait from back in time. So that's
nice.
also. I feel like it was big work to get there, and I think lots of money spent on all sort of education and a lot of time not spent in pubs or with friends, but sitting down and learning and grabbing the camera and doing the
Yeah,
job. And it takes what it is. And yeah. Um,
So you'd say that that learning element, that kind of thirst for knowledge, has been kind of really important in terms of like the
Yes,
progress of your photography and the development of your business.
yes, yes. It took a lot of time. Like, but I'm still doing it. I mean, when I see someone's work and I fall in love with it, and I already say, can I see how you do it? And I'm looking for workshops or,
Yeah, that's nice.
my basic idea is you can always learn from someone else. Doesn't matter how much you know, but I always hear new
Yeah.
things. Like, you never stop learning. But that's my idea. Other people might think different.
No, you're absolutely right. It's I think sometimes I think people can look at other people's work and feel see it negatively, you know,
Yeah.
but actually you can take it as a positive because you say it's a chance to learn from it for sure. This is a lovely one. This is
Oh, this was a big winner. I
so
It's
brilliant.
well, I said to my daughter's picture that that's my favorite outdoors picture. Maybe not. Maybe this is the favorite. Um, it's it's
It's
on the
lovely.
avenue where we live. Basically, this is the view on in October. This is how it looks like. It's full colors. Maybe I blurred it out a bit too much,
Yeah,
but that was the idea, that he just walks away with his little suitcase and little teddy, and it was taken with a 200 f2 lens, which I love to use. I think it shows on my Instagram here or there. Um, that's the lens I prefer for these kind of shots, and
yeah.
I didn't invent this idea. I mean, obviously there were people before me. They figured that this lens is really working with this kind of photography. Um, yeah, so that I just want to create.
Beautiful. No, it's lovely, lovely shot. It really is. And it won. Yeah. So what's the awards then? It was the
It's with the Portrait Master.
Portrait Masters.
Yeah, at the
Lovely.
moment I'm associate photographer for Portrait Masters. Like, I got a lot of
Okay.
pictures went through, and they awarded them, almost every single one of them. And it's just next step. I'm probably going for the master, um, but I have to I have to apply. This January, no, sorry, this July there was an opportunity, but I just didn't have time to upload anything, so I have to wait until January now.
Yeah.
But this was a big winner for me, definitely, and it's been displayed a couple of places. I'm trying to show you pictures I'm in love with, so you kind of get the
Oh, these no, these are lovely. I think if you're talking to your clients, you know, what are usually the reasons why they hire you?
basically what I learn
Okay.
from others is one thing, and I absorb it, and I just roll it together with everything else I have already, and I try new techniques. Or and what separates me as a photographer is, I think, is because my photography is my story. I don't like
Yeah.
I absorb all the things that I learn, but I'm always, at the meantime, trying to go my own way, if you know what I mean. So I
Yeah.
don't really ever explain to clients why, if they like my work, they will come to me anyway. But I just take care of the whole lot as it was on my own. Like, it's mine. I don't try to follow anyone. I don't. Maybe there's some influence on my work that other people can see, but it's mine. I don't have like an exact setup for everything. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that separates me.
That's really nice. I think it's. I think that's really nice because I think sometimes, certainly if people are setting up businesses, that they try and compare with other businesses and end up not being themselves. And I think that being authentically yourself is really important when it comes to business. And clients will see that in your work and see that when they talk to you, is that you're doing something that feels very natural to you.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
rather than trying to be exactly like everyone else.
Yeah. No, I'm only learning the techniques, and then I use them when I can. Like for example, I went to workshops and just like, oh, like for example the editing, and I always put my whites to number 4. Well, you can't do that because every picture is different. I'm not following advice like that. I'm just when I do a series or just a single shot, and I like to sit down and just experiment, because obviously raw files,
Yeah,
they always completely wash out, as you know. But when you sit down and I make a copy and I make another copy and I go back the next day and I have a look, but it is always my way. When I see it on the screen and the next day I have a look again, and I have to decide, okay, this one is better, that one is better, um, and I do decide, and I do things accordingly. And also I always try at the least processing, like the first picture I showed you, or this one, for example, on the screen right now. It's barely anything done with it, like really just camera raw and dodge and burn. That's what I like to. I don't like to change too many colors, or um, I just try to keep it the way it is as much as I can. Sometimes it's difficult, yeah, but you always have to
yeah,
try. And yeah.
brilliant. What would be let's just, I suppose, finish up with, anyone who's like thinking about, setting up their own photography business, part time or full time. What kind of advice would you give them?
Uh, okay. What I found, maybe it's just me, but I really found that I just cannot stick with one genre at this very moment. Before COVID, it was
Yeah,
more possible, in my opinion, just to do one genre, and now it's kind of like, well, I don't know if I see them forums as well that other people feel the same. Um, but I kind of feel like I have to do more. Like for example, I'm not a wedding photographer, but from the last 3 months, I have to
yeah,
show. I can show you 3 weddings I've done, um, and I did it well, and it worked well. Everything was fine, and I'm getting there. I'm not getting scared, but it's not what I like to do. But at the moment, at this very moment, I feel like it's not always about what I like to do. So I have to do weddings, and I can do that. I mean, it's kind of like I take it as a job at that moment, and I like
yeah,
it. I mean, I could be in any other job, obviously, and I'm still holding my camera and I serve someone with nice pictures. But what I see now, I can't stick with one genre. It's just not working for me. Before it did,
yeah,
um, but otherwise, what I found very important, which I'm really, I'm really bad with this, but you have to be very, very consistent on social media. So it's like I'm a photographer. I'm not a social media person, but you have to post and post and
yeah,
post and react and comment and be there, and it's kind of just not me. but
yeah,
always when I start to push it, I have more inquiries, and I don't have to advertise or anything. But when I push it, the more people come. And when I slow down and I don't post and I don't do the social media things, then it slows down every single time.
yeah,
Um, that's just the way ahead. um, I think that's one of the most important things. And just be original. Try
yeah,
try to do yours, like always yours, and people will find you because it's yours. That's what I feel like.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Nice. And I think to have that is really good. So when you are doing different genres of work, you know that actually it's all connected to the bigger piece, which is doing something that you
Yes.
enjoy doing.
Yes. The only thing at the moment, because I'm on my Instagram, I'm displaying different genres of pictures, but now my whole Instagram, it looks a bit like I don't like it. I don't like it that much, but it works. So
No,
yeah,
it's beautiful. You got some beautiful shots there. Really, it's lovely, and it goes back to what you were saying at the beginning about you know giving for, in a world where photography has never been more accessible. You know,
yes,
you're elevating it and making it that much more special, so that people are, you know, they're more keepsakes, and they, you know, people are more likely to show them, display them, and in part, you know, have it tell its own story of a moment in time. You know, it's lovely.
yes, yes. And to me, printing is very important because I have a beautiful screen. I have no problem with it, but when it goes on paper and it goes into a frame, it is so much different. Like, uh,
Yeah,
you know, when you look at it, there's something in your heart. You know, it's special at that
yeah,
moment. You know, let's not go into technical things, but you know, the paper, the frame, everything
yeah,
counts. The the ink they're using, and you know, just it depends. You clearly have to go to a good printer, but I've just
yeah,
love to see my work on prints because they give me a different feeling. Um, they're better. Yeah,
yeah. That's lovely. Look, I really appreciate your time, Daniel. It's been
thank
good
you.
to chat. And what we'll do is, if anyone's interested in seeing more of Daniel's work, then pop to the link somewhere in this video and take a look. And if anyone hasn't got their ticket for Cambridge Photography Show, which is at the Hilton on Downing Street in Cambridge on the 7th of October, then you can get your free admissions ticket today. And we also are running some paid workshops as well. So, yeah, thank you, Daniel. Really appreciate it. And yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much, and you. Thank you.